Welcome back, listeners, to the Wins and Losses podcast with Winkler and Lacapo. How's it going today, sir?
Good, good. How are you, my man?
Good. Let's talk about some interesting football. How was the big house?
Oh,
How
it
was
was
back at
great.
the big
It
house
was
this
great.
week?
I tell you, it was hot.
Yeah.
It was hot. I tell you, it was 85 degrees, full blown sun. So it was good for the co-eds that like to. They're scantily clad, to say the least. But no, it was fun. It was a good time. Big noon kickoff was there. I know. I actually went to the show set. It was actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool to kind of get in the crowd, see how the little hype man in
I
between
heard you had
the
a great
commercials.
spot.
I did, yeah. We were actually right up on that stage. I literally rubbed shoulders with Charles Woods.
I'm kind of shocked you didn't invite you up to the stage.
Yeah,
Figured you would have been making some picks.
Dave Portnoy was there, and Leinert and Brady Quinn were also like literally right next to me. So no, it was pretty neat. I tried to keep a good distance from Urban Meyer.
Yes.
but I did see the host Rob Stone, and they had the guest host Drewski, I guess he's a YouTuber, and he was there. No, it was a good time, good crowd, good turnout. Like I said, it was real hype, real live. It's kind of a disappointment. The game kind of the energy going into that game. It was Michigan's annual maze out. For those of you that don't
Tell you what,
know,
if they showed some aerial views, that looked amazing.
Yeah, I know.
And on TV, the maze out looked really impressive.
people really follow directions. So good job, Ann Arbor.
And also, it was warm, so you didn't have to wear coats and stuff. Everyone could wear the maze.
No, it's nice
Makes
because
it easier.
everybody's got kind of a little bit of maze if you're a Michigan fan. But no, it was a maze out. The annual maze out tends to kind of bring a little bit of electricity. The whole crowd's dressed in yellow, as those might have seen on TV. But it looked great. The energy was great. The atmosphere was great. It was homecoming, so there was a lot of people coming back. A lot of former alumni were there. And it's just a good time. It was a great game. Normally Wisconsin would have been
legend, the national champ, Blake Corum was there. So
Blake Corum was there. Yep. No, Blake Corum was there. Got the crowd hyped up since the Rams played on Thursday night. He was able to attend, which I thought was neat. I would have liked for Hutchinson to come, but they were in Cincinnati. He had other things.
He had to dominate Cincinnati yesterday.
I guess the line. We'll talk about that here shortly. But yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun. It was kind of a bummer the game didn't live up to the electricity.
Boring,
yeah, I'm glad you said it and I didn't. I didn't want to use that word, but it really was boring. We were very slow to get out of the gates.
Defense looked legit, but everything else was slow going.
Wisconsin had that opening drive, and they literally just marched it right down and scored. I mean, granted, a lot of those plays were scripted, but Michigan still being the more dominant team.
They clamped down after that.
Yeah,
they didn't really have much chance to do much else after that.
It was eerily similar to that Nebraska game. Yeah. We were in total control of the game, and yet the score did not dictate it. At the end, it was 24-10. You know, you beat Wisconsin by 14. You normally would say, great, that's a great win. We could have probably beat them by
we should have
30.
had 30 or 40 points probably in that game.
So hopefully we kind of got all the rust out of our off week. We're headed to L.A. I did hear today, I don't know if you heard, that the L.A. Chargers are opening up their $270 million training facility for Michigan to practice at.
There we go, Jimmy.
So, yeah, it's nice to have friends in high places out there. So they call this facility the Bolt, and I guess Sharon Moore was talking about it today.
That's really cool.
So I thought it was pretty neat that they're going to be practicing.
We got a few connections over there.
Yeah. Just a few. So hopefully we can kind of get in there, get a good week of practice, and play the Trojans. We're actually an underdog going into that game, 2.5-point dog.
The big thing that I was excited about from this weekend was I thought getting the ball to McCulley in the second half was huge. He can catch everything, and that freshman Marsh looked really good on offense. Hayes continues to do the same thing, but one stat they shared was it's the first time we've had over 270 yards passing since 2023.
Yes.
So
since JJ.
And a wide receiver having over 100 yards since 2023.
Yeah, well, since
so you can tell it's been a long time since we've had anyone do that. So it's encouraging. I guess we continue to grow. We wish you would have had more offense in the first half. I feel like Bryce didn't have a lot of running options.
No.
So, which is, I don't know. I know Harbaugh didn't want JJ to run as much either, but I think Bryce is bigger, can handle it more. You know, you kind of saved him for certain games. I don't know if Moore's thinking the same thing and just being cautious. I don't get it.
I was talking to my little season ticket seat buddies that I sit next to, and they're very disappointed with the way Sharon tends to have that very limited playbook with Bryce Underwood. It's almost like he's treating him with kid gloves. He just is unafraid to kind of just turn him loose. It's interesting, the two games that Biff Poggi was was the head coach, were the
Yeah.
two games that Bryce Underwood just looked free and flowing. He was able to run and sling it. He did open it up a little more in the second half, but I feel like going into USC, you're going to have to open up that playbook. Let him sling it.
Yeah, you're
Andrew
gonna have
Marsh is a great receiver
has good catches.
coming along. Donovan McCulley's proven himself to be the true number one on Michigan. Justice Haynes again with a huge 170.
Heisman.
He is a name laying very low on that Heisman, but if Michigan keeps on winning, that's the guy you got to look out for. I know it's a quarterback driven award, but I tell you, Mr. Arch Manning has kind of fallen by the wayside. Drew Aller has fallen by the wayside.
It's a tough scene right now for
Heisman.
Heisman.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's really kind of Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza with Indiana. They play each other this week, so I think that one of them is going to knock each other out.
Yep.
But yeah, Justice Haynes just doing what he's got to do, keeping steady as could be, 100 yards after 100 yards. By the end of the year, he's going to have 1,200 yards playing the Buckeyes. So that could be his big stage for the Heisman. So
you want to talk about some other big games? You want to go talk about some preseason poll? What are you kind of thinking?
No, we can talk. I know many of you are probably wondering where the Buffs are. I did have the college title this week. I was 4-1. We did tie for the NFL.
So far.
We're 2-2, but our games tonight with the Chiefs. We both went 2-2. I had the Jags. Evan had the Chiefs. So if he wins, then I guess we tie for the Bucs. So none of us can really wear these yet. So.
Yes. So we'll see what happens. But a lot of the big surprise out of the weekend was Penn State dropping a big bomb or whatever you want to call it with UCLA. UCLA hasn't led in a game all season long. Probably the worst Power 4 team in the country. 0-4. They fired their whole coaching staff. A new coaching staff comes in pretty much, and Penn State loses.
It's the old adage.
That is huge.
Never let a team beat you twice. I feel like Penn State let Oregon beat them twice. They were deflated from that Oregon game 2 weeks ago.
That first half was horrible.
And then that travel to the West Coast.
Get way behind in first half.
You know which is a real kind of underlying storyline is UCLA had two new coordinators that just got announced on Tuesday, this past Tuesday. Jerry Neuheisel's the offensive coordinator, and I forget the name of the defensive coordinator. But, they came in, so Penn State really didn't know what to expect, and I feel like Neuheisel turned that Nico Iamaleava loose. And it's just like he really kind of showed up. That's the old Tennessee transfer, you know. So he's a good quarterback. UCLA with a huge win. Great for Michigan in the Big Ten. Really hurts Penn State's chances. They really have to run the table. Yeah. And with IU and at Ohio State still left, I don't know if they're going to do that. So.
Yeah, they definitely got to run the table. Yeah. It's one of those things where if they won out, they probably still would make it in, but. That's a tough call, and Penn State hasn't won a big game with Ohio State in forever.
It's at Ohio State too. I feel like
you don't feel great about that just because of the history of what Penn State's done.
And it pains me to say, but Ohio State's playing some good football. You might look at their scores and say, "Oh yeah, sure." Who is their opponent? Their defense looks pretty dominating. So it's like Michigan is definitely kind of building and developing. They're young. I listened to Joel Klatt this morning, and he's very impressed with what he saw and how they're just improving week by week. By the end of the year, I think we'll be ready for those Buckeyes. That's going to be a tough task. They are a good squad. They got a great defensive squad. I know that even their offense with their rookie running back, that Bo Jackson's playing well. The receivers, of course. Julian's saying so. Kudos to the Buckeyes, and I won't say that very often, but they're playing some good football. I don't know about.
But their game versus Texas doesn't look as hot anymore.
No,
because Texas, another big thing. Texas went down.
Sure.
I mean, that is their first SEC loss, so they could possibly still make it in. But the way they've been playing, they're not gonna win the SEC playing. I heard a stat
they had 12 rushing yards that game. 12.
I think that's the biggest thing. You can't put it all on Arch Manning, because if you don't have a running game, you know how hard that is on teams.
Gosh,
when you don't have that play action, you don't have any threat to run.
All that pressure on Arch, between expectations and then having no time to throw in the pocket. And then let's just face it. I'm going to say it, and it might be an unpopular opinion, but he was not the starting quarterback last year. He was behind Quinn Ewers for a reason.
For 2 years, yeah.
I just don't know. You look at some of his throws, and mechanically, they're just off. You know, you can say he's a good quarterback because he has the Manning last name and his uncles are Eli and Peyton. But just because you have a last name doesn't translate. And I'm not saying he's
Right.
a bad quarterback because I do think he's a good football
He's
player.
still starting at a Division I school, Texas.
But I
and SEC.
don't know if he is necessarily the next coming of Tom Brady, like just going to be the quarterback of all.
They just hyped him up way too much. I feel he had no chance to live up to expectations of what they gave him.
Nobody does.
So I feel like everyone needed to kind of, like you said, think about what happened the last 2 years with Quentin Ewers, and maybe lower the expectation and think about Texas's offense as a whole. Right, their defense is good, but when you don't have, like you said, a running game.
And their defense is on the field a lot because their offense isn't really generating anything.
Correct.
You know, their receivers look very lackadaisical. Their running backs are doing nothing, but to their defense, there's no holes for them to run.
Yeah.
Their line, not giving Arch any protection, not giving the running backs any holes to run in. Texas is kind of a mess right now, but they have a chance to rectify it this weekend. Turn it around. They have Oklahoma in the big Red River rivalry this week at the Texas State Fair. They're actually favored, which is shocking because Oklahoma's number 6 in the country.
Yeah.
But I do think Texas is going to play well. We're going to pick that game on Thursday for you. But
I think the biggest thing with teams, when you lose, how are you going to bounce back? What's the character of your football team? How are you going to learn? How are coaches going to take that, find your mistakes, and how can you grow from that? Obviously, you can see it from Penn State, right? They made a team beat you twice. Mm-hmm. Can Texas bounce back? Can some of these teams bounce back? That big game with Florida State, they lost. Now they lost again.
Yeah.
I think Miami, the Canes are for real.
Yes,
I think, they almost seem like the best team in the country based on the resume that they've had so far.
Resume, 100%.
Early in the season, still early.
Eyeball tests, they look really good, but I tell you, when it comes down to just what travels, a running game and a defense, and I look at Ohio State, and they got them both, and both probably the best I've seen. The Hurricanes are a great team. They do have a good run game. They do have a great defense, but they rely a lot on Carson Beck. They're a very quarterback-driven team. Ohio State, Julian Sayin could go down. I still think they keep rolling. I mean, they're a good team right now.
Just be interested to see when they're truly tested again because they haven't really had a true test.
I think they have the Buckeyes here in a couple weeks.
The Buckeyes have who? You said the Buckeyes.
They have Penn State. I apologize. Yeah, they have Penn State here in a couple weeks. So I mean, might be like November 1st, but you got a little while to wait.
Michigan is going to be their test.
Yeah,
let's be real, right?
It is every year.
I mean, we're obviously in their heads.
They haven't beaten us in over 1,000, with 1,200 and some days.
They're going to make him one-dimensional, and we'll see if he can throw the balls.
It might even be snowing in Ann Arbor and cold. I don't think we'll have the weather we did this past weekend.
And one of the surprises in the Big Ten is Maryland.
Yes.
I mean, they're kind of sneakily kind of looking good there.
Boy, they
Not
are
really
for all rights. They
quarterback.
should have beat Washington this week. I tell you, Washington had to mount a heck of a comeback to come back.
Good win for them, but it was at Maryland. But Maryland's kind of a sneaky team. I think they have a great quarterback. They're kind of, if you're not ready to play them, they could beat you.
You know, and you look at Michigan's schedule coming up, and we got the Huskies here after the Trojans here in a couple weeks, and then we have Maryland right before the Buckeyes game. So it's like Michigan's schedule for all those haters out there might not be as quote-unquote easy as people say. Yeah. We have some tests still left on that schedule. And, if Michigan overlooks somebody, they could be picked off just like anybody else.
When I look at the new rankings, Joey, what are some teams you feel like this is, especially the top 5? You got Ohio State, Miami, Oregon, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. Those top 5 teams, what team do you trust the most?
Do I trust?
And if I had to put my money down on someone,
trust in what respect? Trust in like making the playoff, or trust in like just winning the whole thing?
Winning the whole thing.
Gosh, there's two of them up there that I would 100% say Oregon, except they have yet to prove that it could be done. They've never won a title. Yeah. I mean, so therefore you almost got to go the Buckeyes. I mean, they just did it last year. It's hard not to trust them. Like I said, it hurts me. I'm saying a lot of positive things about Ohio State, and trust me, it doesn't feel very good. But, realistically, you don't trust Miami because they just collapse like they did last year.
Right,
Oregon always tends to have a great regular season, then come playoff time, they tend to collapse. Ole Miss, they still got to play some big dogs. They got to play Alabama. They got to play
Correct.
Texas.
They got some of
A&M.
their meat other schedule
They got
still left.
the real meat left, and you got Texas A&M, who also they have their rivalry with Texas. They got, I believe, Georgia or Alabama left, Tennessee. So it's that with that SEC schedule. So trusting him, I probably got to go the Buckeyes. But
Nice. Well, I was surprised by that. I thought he
well,
might say someone else, but he said Ohio State.
Sorry.
Well, when you think about the polls, though, like I think our point is proven.
100%.
Joey's point is proven.
100%.
We had Texas, Penn State, and Clemson especially were all ranked in the top, 5 to start the year?
Yes.
And where are they ranked now?
And throw Notre Dame in there, top 6.
Where are they ranked now? Where are
Notre
those
Dame
top
might
3
be
especially?
still low, but those top 3 are sitting outside the polls. Notre Dame's sitting at 16, but they have 2 losses. It's just like, man, that goes to show you that the preseason predictors aren't quite. You're going based on names, and unfortunately, that influences
and the
voters.
hype, right? You're just thinking. You're hoping.
The thing that I don't like is it influences voters, and it influences all the people that make the choices for the playoffs. Because you already
it makes it say the resume.
You already see Texas in a highlight because they're Texas and they were preseason number 1. But nothing makes Texas better than, let's see, a Texas Tech sitting at number 9, or even an LSU sitting at 11.
Because Texas Tech and Texas A&M, they were not ranked really low to start the year. So why? So it's kind of a bummer for those teams. I
mean, it's really even sad to say, like a team like Missouri, they're sitting at 14 undefeated in the SEC, the same conference Texas is. And it's just like if Missouri loses to Alabama this week, there's a great likelihood they're going to probably drop out of the rankings because they're Missouri and not Texas. And I just don't feel that that's right. I think the rankings need to hold off until at least November, till we have a good grasp of the teams, who we have, what they look like,
Because even now, I feel like some teams have had some serious games, but I don't think you know enough even yet. I feel like you could do a rankings now, but I almost feel like you need 2 more weeks.
Right.
Then you know a lot more.
I really feel by the end of October is the time to rank. And the College Football Playoff Committee, they do it right. That's when their rankings come out. But all these AP preseasons, you're sitting at AP number 1 Texas, AP number 2 Penn State, both sitting outside looking.
Was it 12 get in this, right, with the playoff?
12
So if you look at the top 10, is there a team in there you're saying is not making the playoff that's in the top 10?
Yeah, I know. For all you people down there in Bloomington, I do not think the Hoosiers, I think they're going to go down to Oregon this week, and I think the Nittany Lions are going to get them as well. I think Indiana's going to sit out. And unfortunately,
they're a pretender for you. They're just not really what the ranking says they
This
are.
might not help Michigan much, but I think Oklahoma's going to get out too. They just have too brutal of a schedule. I think
with a quarterback out.
With Texas this week, and then with what they have left, I think they have Ole Miss and they have Ole Miss and Alabama, and just that SEC schedule. I think LSU's on there as well. It's just like that's tough. Bama, they could hold their own. Georgia can hold their own. Ole Miss, I think, might sneak in there too.
Well, the biggest thing with me with Alabama is look at how they started and how they've really taken that loss.
They've galvanized as a team,
right?
Yeah.
And now they look great.
Yeah, they look.
DeBoer's done a great job. Give him all the credit. He was a hot seat contender we talked about earlier in some of our podcasts, but he's got hold of it right now. He's looking good.
He's a good coach. There was no doubt about it. It's just a matter of galvanizing your team, taking your team and forming it around your talents. There's some people like Luke Fickell. I know we just played Wisconsin this week.
Use what you got.
And he's trying to transform a Wisconsin team into more of an RPO run pass option team. When Wisconsin is born and bred on that smash mouth.
It's kind of like Rick Rod, right? When he came to Michigan, you can't change us all of a sudden to.
He set Michigan football back a decade, 10 years, and I think Fickell's doing that to Wisconsin. It took Barry Alvarez everything he had to bring that, and they were
offensive line oriented, run,
Dane, Jonathan Taylor, all them big dogs, Monty Williams or Monty Hall, all running that ball, it's just smash mouth, smash. J.J. Watt on defense. I mean, they were just controlling that line of scrimmage. You look at Wisconsin now, they're trying to pass.
And they said on the broadcast he wants to go back to that now, but is it too late?
He's got to get the players.
Yeah, now it's too late. Now you've done this. Now you have to recycle all your players, and your recruiting is totally different.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a hot seat. Another big hot seat this week was the Stingers head coach. The Stingers lost 8-6 this week. So
You're on the hot seat,
I'm
Evan?
on the hot seat.
Oh,
I
no.
lost the first game this year. We probably, so
Who are they looking? Who's available
I'm
to
not
take
sure.
over
They
the
might
team?
be calling Joey up. Get him back into the coaching realm for soccer.
Hey man, for the right price, I might take over the Stingers, but I couldn't do that to my guy over here.
So just keep an eye on me. Keep your thoughts about me and the Stingers. I don't know how much longer I'll be coaching the team.
Oh, he's lying. They're gonna win a championship. Look out for the Stingers.
How was some big NFL news this week?
Yeah, no, I tell you, the NFL was actually a little bit juicy yesterday. I know there was a couple games that were kind of shocking, but you look at the parity in the NFL, and it's just like nothing really kind of truly shocks me. I know
Any team can win every week. There's a lot of good football teams.
Last night the New England Patriots went into Buffalo and took care of the
and their
undefeated
defense
Buffalo Bills.
looked good on the Bills.
Yeah,
The Bills usually are scoring 40-some points a game.
I tell you, man, any team can win anywhere. The Lions handled the Bengals pretty well, but the Commanders
Especially
went
at
LA.
two big road games, right?
Yeah.
Commanders won at LA. We didn't think that was gonna, or the Patriots Bills.
Hey, how about Baker touchdown maker going into Seattle?
Baker touchdown maker.
The Buccaneers beating the Seahawks.
A lot of road wins, some big road games.
Big road
I mean,
games.
that's probably the week.
Yeah,
just to say,
big road games.
And Eagles lost at home.
Yes, no more undefeateds. NFL has no more undefeated. So the 1972 Miami Dolphins, you're safe.
They have their
You're the
champagne.
They still got their champagne. Nobody's gonna break your undefeated record. Not at least.
I'm
this
still in
year.
pain that the Patriots didn't that one year.
Oh man,
That team was amazing.
They were with Brady and Randy Moss. They had it. Eli ruined everything.
Strahan and the boys had the best pass rush ever at the end of the season, and we just couldn't handle it. That's what kind of came down. But
yeah, we'll talk a little. We got the Chiefs coming up tonight. I know I have the Jags. Evan, of course, has the Chiefs. That's going to be a pretty good game going into Duval, a little Jacksonville action. It's going to be tough for the Chiefs to go into Florida and handle the Jags, but we'll see what happens here on Monday night.
So I'm gonna give you a list, just like we did for college, real quick before we get to some baseball news.
Right, I do want to.
I'm going to give you some teams. Same thing. Who do you trust the most?
Okay.
Then we're going to ask you who you don't. So we got the Colts 4-1, Philly 4-1, Buffalo, San Francisco, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville all have one loss. Out of those teams, who are you feeling that they have a great record, but that's not really who they are by the end of the season?
I do think that the problem with the Colts, I think, are much improved over last year, and being 4-1
impressive for them right now.
Is a real shock. But the way the NFL does their scheduling, if you have a kind of a down year the year before,
you try to help the parity, right?
Your schedule's not as strong the next year. So I do look at the Colts, and I do think that they could probably finish maybe.
They'll probably be a playoff team, probably.
Maybe
I'm thinking
12-6,
and their conference is weak.
And really make the playoffs. But do I think they're a contender? No. I mean, the Eagles are strong. Buffalo's strong. I think the 49ers are strong. Tampa is strong. The Lions are playing great. I don't trust the Steelers. I don't.
Yeah, too much unknowns with them yet.
Jacksonville might be I think it's going to come down between Jacksonville and the Colts. I think that division is funny because we looked at it and we thought it was the Houston Texans.
Yes, for
hands
sure.
down.
Yeah.
And I think that it's between the Colts and the Jags right now. I mean, so yeah, I there you have some pretty big powerhouses in there. Buffalo, Philly, the Lions, I think, are the strongest. The ones that I don't trust are definitely the Colts and the Jags.
And when you look at the teams that maybe are 2 and 3 right now, you got Dallas is 2-1. You got Cincinnati, Houston, Arizona, Carolina, all 2 and 3. Do you feel like any of those teams, or even those 2 and 2 teams, Chicago, Atlanta, and the Chiefs, any of those teams you trust, they're going to make a run for the playoffs?
Well,
it might show because maybe they had a hard schedule in the beginning.
Yeah, it's hard to go against the Chiefs. Yeah, I said it. Blah blah blah. But I do think the Chiefs are probably gonna hit their stride. Hopefully not till after they play the Lions next week.
Yes, totally right.
But
they're gonna get Rice back as a wide receiver.
The thing that hurts the Chiefs, though, that might hold them out of the playoffs is really their division. Their division's strong.
Correct, I agree.
The Chargers,
Broncos look good. Chargers,
and even the Raiders might be the worst in that division. The Raiders are a good team.
They've been playing tough.
Yeah, So really,
I feel like Dallas is if their defense could come around because their offense looks
thing with
killer.
Dallas is once again it's almost like it's the division. They're in Philly and the Commanders. Washington is a great.
They just seem more complete, right?
It's tough when you got to play each of those teams twice. That's almost like 4 losses, and it's tough when your interdivision is so tough. But Houston has a good chance to kind of turn it around. They are in a weaker division. They're in the Colts, Jags, Titans division. I think their tougher games are kind of over with. I do think if they straighten their offensive line issues, C.J. Stroud, they're a playoff team.
They can be, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean,
They're
really,
coached well.
Arizona probably should have had that game yesterday. They lost.
Why can't people learn about holding on to the football?
They lost.
I don't understand
a
it,
game
Joey.
They had no right to lose, but he once
Like,
again
hold on to the football,
dropped
people.
the football before he hit the goal line and cost themselves a
Get
game
in the middle of the end zone and drop it.
against the winless Tennessee Titans. So good for the Titans, not so good for the Cardinals. But
Yeah, Titans got to win. Great for
the
them.
thing with the NFL, the parity is just enormous. I mean, any team can win anytime. I mean, you even look at the Minnesota Vikings going over to London and
They got
Germany. They're
backup
all over.
quarterback. They
They're
are.
over. They're over the pond over there winning.
Not sure when they're coming back.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, they're just sitting there steady
Yeah.
winning, and they play the Lions here in a couple weeks after the Lions play the Chiefs. So you never know. I mean, those interdivisional games are huge. So
Yeah.
with the NFL, it's interesting. We got some big games coming up.
The
this
game tonight,
weekend.
I think it's huge for the Chiefs. They got to win this tonight just to get back to 3-2 because, like we talked about, those teams that have been good have the hardest schedules.
Right.
So you don't want to get too much in the hole because you have less room for error going
Well,
forward.
and they're always like, I feel like in those
Got to
prime
play the
time
Lions
games,
next week.
Next week,
right.
Monday Night Football, they got the Lions. I think they have some of the better
They're going
teams.
to
down
play the
road.
Bills. They're going to
Yeah.
play the Chargers again, the
Right.
Broncos. So
Yeah.
they got a win is important for them. I think the Jags could afford a loss and still be fine.
Yep, I
So,
agree.
how about the big postseason news? The Tigers. Man, I was hoping Scuba was going to give us the 2-0 lead.
Not necessarily his fault.
It wasn't.
If you watched any of that game, I know I've been watching these baseball games like nothing. I've been watching the baseball games probably more than football. But Scooble pitched phenomenal last night. He only gave up 3 hits, 2 of them were homers.
Yeah.
But yeah,
To the same guy twice.
Our Polanco, yeah. No, I tell you, our offense was not helping him out. But we finally came to play in the 8th, tied it up.
Some clutch hitting, I feel like, by the Tigers.
Just
this
to have our
postseason.
bullpen kind of squander it away and have the Mariners win. But we're going back to the D
Let's hopefully,
tomorrow,
yep.
so hopefully we can clinch it home. We just got to win 2 games in Detroit. Hopefully we'll win on Tuesday, Wednesday, close it out. Don't want to take it back to Seattle. I don't
No.
like our chances. But if we do take it back to Seattle, we'll have Scooble back.
Yeah, School should be hopefully
So-
pitching that game 5.
So I do like
But
the Tigers, but boy, the shocker is probably
Blue
the
Jays
game.
they are on fire. Their
Man,
offense is sick
They
right
are
now.
slugging the ball. I mean, they've scored like 13 runs.
10
and
runs, right? Or 7 or whatever the
11
other
and
game was.
13.
Whew.
I mean, they are just like killing the Yankees. So New York
It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, New
right
York needs to really obviously win the 2 in New York on Tuesday.
Get
Tuesday,
some momentum
Wednesday.
back.
Take it back and just pray for the game 5. And
Hopefully those bats cool down a little bit.
But I tell you, I don't see anybody. The Blue Jays. You might be right when you said the Brewers Blue Jays in the World
I've
Series.
been watching a lot of baseball this summer.
I don't believe that. But my Cubbies, come on, Cubbies, do it for me tonight. Do it for me. The Cubbies.
Yeah, we
play
need the Cubbies to get a win tonight.
Cubbies play the Brewers. They had that big 8th run first inning.
Yeah.
Gave it up on Saturday. Hopefully, game 2 in Milwaukee tonight. We can steal one, take it back to Wrigley, and close it out on Tuesday. What is today? On Wednesday, Thursday, I believe they play at Wrigley. So it's like close it out and just do it at home. Do it for the people
Yeah.
of Chicago. Hopefully,
Keep that Tigers Cubs hopeful World
I tell you,
Series that we'd love to have.
The one that's literally a coin toss is the Dodgers Phillies coming
Yeah.
up here. The Dodgers won the other night with Ohtani on the mound on Saturday, but Philadelphia had the lead going into the 6th. I mean, that game tonight, really, if Philly wins it tonight, it's a best out of 3 then,
Yeah.
with 2 of them in LA. But still, I mean, I feel like the pitching is equivalent, the hitting is equivalent. I mean, I just feel like there's stars all over the place.
Phillies have been in the World Series recently. The Dodgers are always there.
That is a great
So-
series. I mean, it pains me to say, but I believe the winner of that series is probably going to represent the National League. Hopefully, the Cubs can prove me wrong and, and go to the series. But yeah, so baseball is definitely getting good. Come on, Tigers! Come on, Cubbies! You got to do it for
Come
me.
on, do it for the homers here.
But no, I tell you, it's been very exciting. Those wild card series were great.
Yeah.
Detroit and Chicago
Yeah.
playing well, and
And I wanted to make sure, I wanted to let the podcast listeners know that we got some new, our producers. Our new producers.
Who's that?
If you hear a little, barking or a little growling on back, we got our buddies, our producers.
Don't mind my dogs, Bo and
Bo and
Fritz. they're kind of our bodyguards here while we do
Sometimes
this
they got to tell us that we're not doing it quite right.
So I apologize if you hear any panting or barking in the background.
We just like to add a little excitement.
A little bit of spice.
There are boys down here. They're down here right now hanging out with us.
They're just making sure we're doing our job.
Part of the podcast, guys.
Right, so.
Hope you're enjoying. So if you enjoy that, please subscribe. We need to keep that subscriber total up. Let's get those up. If you listen, just hit the button.
That's right. We're going to be back on Thursday. Going to release our prediction shows for the NFL.
We'll see who might get the buffs. Do I keep them?
We'll announce who gets the buffs. It's whoever wins that Jacksonville.
Are they going over to Joey?
Come on, Jags. Tonight I need you. I got to get them buffs back.
Or is it a carryover to the next week? Maybe we have to have a tiebreaker. I don't know.
We could.
Flip a coin, rock, paper, scissors. I don't know.
But we are going to pick the 5 biggest college games, 5 biggest NFL games, and talk about that baseball playoff series should be narrowed down on Thursday as well. So we'll see you Thursday, and as always,
go blue.